That's better. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are at the Slight Edge chapters 3 and 4. The slight edge doesn't have to be right side up, does it? It's fine. It's totally fine. And I hope you guys are getting all excited for convention and all of the things. Yeah. Just a reminder, next week we will not be on here for the Slight Edge. We do not have any calls this week either. So just a little reminder. But watch for lives and fun things, because we always like to do those things where we are. All right. So good morning, Sharon. So nice to see you. I thought that was Ben that I saw in the frame. I was like, hold on a second. Hold on just a second. Okay. So we are at chapter. Oh, sorry. First of all, did you like, of course, the week that I was like, oh, I have this friend that does this, like, I get two things. I watched her stories all week and she didn't do a single one. And I was like, dang it, because that's why I put the group together so I can show you guys how she did them. And like, I just thought that they were really fun. Anyway, so that's so great. And I've so enjoyed watching all of you guys and your stories. I've had an I get to attitude and I have just been driving. I think I've driven all week long. I would be very interested to see how many kilometers that I put on my vehicle. It's not mine. It's okay. So what was your takeaway? I would love to hear takeaways from this last week with the I get to attitude. I think, sorry, I have to pick a favorite though. I love you all, but Linda's I get to be in the pool with my grandkids, like, was the winner chicken dinner from yesterday. I love that. I loved it. Love it, love it, love it. What did you guys take away from the I get to thought challenge? You'll have to unmute.
I'm going to hop on right away because I thought I had just a really I get to kind of approach to many, many things. And then I started being more aware and reflecting and noticed how many times I typed I have to. And I was typing it not with an attitude of disappointment or sadness or anything, but that's the words I typed instead of the I get to words. So that was a revelation for me.
That's so great, Sherry, because we can think about, like, I agree with you. I don't feel like I have the attitude of that, right? But it's just, it is the verbiage and what the verbiage can do to our mindset. Mm-hmm. That's so valuable. Anyone else?
I feel like specifically in regards to my laundry, I felt more thankful. It's like, hey, I get to just put my clothes in a washing machine and it's like my own personal maid. I don't have to wash any of those clothes. I have washed clothes, all of my clothes before by hand. When I was in Africa, that took a lot of time every single day. Now, every few days, I just throw a load in. It takes a couple hours and I'm done. I just have to fold it. But I had to do that part and wash them all before.
Chelsea, I love that.
We have two maids in our house. The washing machine and the dryer. And a dishwasher.
And then the dishwasher. How many of us think it would be just so great to have a maid in our house? But like 2 generations previous to us, they would think that we have a few of them. I love that perspective. Also, probably why people in Africa wear really well, other than the weather, but like you think about washing like heavy denim or washing like a super dense fabric, and they have like these flowy fabrics and things like that they wear, and probably a lot easier to wash then. But that's an amazing perspective shift. Thank you for that. Anybody else?
I had to really think about the like I get to that doesn't sound boring. And not boring, but like, because I just did dishes and I don't do them every day. I load the dishwasher and I never even thought to put I get to load a dishwasher because I have a maid, Chelsea, which is brilliant.
Right?
I love that maid, let me tell you. But I didn't want to do it first thing in the morning. I get to, well, what am I actually going to do today? Well, I can only think of one thing, so I'll wait. Maybe I can get to do more than one thing.
That's awesome. I was running here and there with everybody this week, and I was talking to Nolan about it and just said, like, I'm not upset about it that I'm doing this running. Like, I'm being present at a track meet, or I'm taking kids to Cairo, or I'm doing like all those things. But I'm a little frustrated that I'm not getting the chance to do the things that I would prefer to be doing at home for my business or the housework stuff. Like, it's not even like I'm happy to be present, but there's stuff that I'm not doing. And he's like, this is why you do what you do, right? And I'm like, bingo. Yes, it is. So I'm just going to stand in this like time flexibility and just go, this is just a season right now. And in the month of June, that is just, oh my gosh, insanity. But I was able to make some choices this week and have a way different attitude about it. And I feel like I'm a little bit less squirrely, although I laughed at my post yesterday because I put something up about stress and limping to the finish line, being chased by a lion, something. And then like, it honestly cover the children's ears. All you know what broke loose. Like as soon as I hit send, like I was like, all right then. Cause I just had put it out there that I was going to laugh about it. I'm like, and I'm going to laugh about it because it just is what it is. And whatever, I'm just going to be thankful to have things to stress me out about it. Anyway, I was able to take Lauren out to her grade 8 camp this week after her track and field meet, because I knew that she was going to need to decompress. Ella wasn't able to run. And so I told Ella she had to stay home. And so Nolan and I took Lauren out there. We got to do that. And so she was able to talk about being happy or being sad or like all of the feelings without worrying about her sister's feelings. And she needed to get that out. And so then Thursday, I got to take Ella out to Echo for the day. And I thought if I was working a regular job or if I had other things that were like kind of in the way, I wouldn't have been able to have that opportunity to do that for her. Like for me, it was like, yeah, it was cool to spend the day with her and do whatever. But for her, I knew how much that meant to her because otherwise she would have missed the whole camping trip. And even being there, like I stayed the whole day. They had a hike. And if I hadn't stayed there, she would have sat on a bench by herself because she couldn't go on the hike. And so I was like, okay, this I get to attitude thing, while not new, apparently needs a little bit more work in my brain. Anybody else have any thoughts on last week before we hop into the choice?
There was just, I don't know, lots of, I would say, deep thinking into all of this last week for me. And one of the get-tos, I didn't put it up because it would have not looked like anything in a picture, but I was looking down at the floor and there was like mud clumps on my clean rugs at the front because I just did like a whole bunch of work in our porch that needed it really badly. And here my son with his work boots, big clumps. And I was like, gosh, darn it. And then I thought to myself, no, I actually get to clean this up because I'm so thankful that I have a son who is like just on the side of almost a workaholic. Like, I mean, he is determined. That boy is determined, right? He works 2 jobs and goes to school. And I'm like, no, I am so thankful that I have, that he is well, that he is strong, that he is able, and I get to clean up his mud. So I threw the boots out of them. I'm like, Josiah, don't bring your, work boots right into the house. Like, we got a porch for a reason, please. Right. But I thought, I'm going to be thankful in this moment because he's also leaving for Bible school next year. And, I won't see those mud clumps on my clean, carpets in the front. So I thought, no, I'm going to be thankful in these moments. So yeah, there's lots of little ones that I shared in my stories. And I tried to keep all those things very positive this week because I thought, you know what? There's lots of things, like Chelsea says, there's lots of people out there that don't have a washer and dryer, and there's lots of people out there that don't have a mom that can clean up after them. And there's, we can think all the things. So you know what? I'm just thankful for cleaning up mud clumps.
I think that I could interject another one before he goes to Bible school. He'd be like, I get to nag my son today. Next, when he's at Bible college, I will not be able to nag him every day. So I get to nag my child today. I love him.
There is something that I was also thinking of, like, it's like what he talked about, like essentially the only difference between someone who's successful and someone who isn't successful isn't some crazy big thing. It's such a small thing. And the fact, like, he's saying that I was the same person when I was unsuccessful and a failure, and who I am now, I'm the same person. But the only difference was I just kept doing the little things. And it made me think of even like our relationship with Jesus, if I just pray all the time, Jesus, help me know you more. Jesus, help me know you more. Jesus, help me love you more. Like, that's not a bad prayer. But am I taking the practical daily disciplines of things that actually get to help me know him more? If I just sit there and never pursue his heart through scripture, through prayer, through listening to his voice, then I'll never know him more. It'll be like a wishful prayer, but he's given us the practicals. Read your Bible, talk to me about everything, listen to my voice. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we want it to be easier, quote unquote. We want a different answer because we think that there's some magical thing that, like, I remember thinking, like, what's the magic sauce to being on fire for Jesus? What's the one book I'm not reading? Or what's the one thing I'm not doing? It's like all of those things will fall short if I don't just actually do the simple. It just felt too simple.
Mm-hmm.
Reading my Bible, talk to him and listen to his voice. Do the thing he actually tells you to do instead of just wanting a different answer.
Mm-hmm. And that's totally what we're looking at in this book right now, right? Is that it's the simple disciplines that are done, and it's the compound interest. I love that he used money as an example, because that's a more tangible answer, right? Or example. But you're right. It's those simple disciplines that we don't know, like, how they're going to compound over time. And I loved at the end of the first chapter that we read today, like the chapter 3, there was a story about a guy who was like, I started applying the principle to my life. And, I don't know if he said, I'm not a millionaire, however that worked, but he basically said, my boss said, the greatest joy was when my boss called me into his office and said I had changed over the last 2 years. I told him I hadn't noticed. And he said, well, everyone else has. And so that's sort of like, if we do these simple disciplines and we're just focusing on those small changes every day, we may not notice, but somebody else might. And we see that in our product too, right? Where, we tell people, take pictures of your face for Pete's sake. If you're not going to do anything else, take a picture of your face, because you won't notice it because it's so gradual, but it will show, right? Sherry, I think you did that with Joyum. You're like, I don't know. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like, I don't know if it's going to show, like, And then you look at the pictures and you're like, well, wow, like there it is. There it is. All right. The choice. I loved this story. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. You get busy living or get busy dying. He picks good quotes. I love this book. I love that it's so easy to read and the principles are like, it's not like you're getting 27 principles for every 2 chapters. You're getting like specific, easy, measurable pieces that you can apply. And then you're getting illustrations that you will remember as to why you're doing the thing. I thought that the illustration with the boys was so good. And the hyacinth on the water, right? And as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, when is it going to be noticeable? When is it going to be noticeable? How many days would it take to be noticeable?
I really like the water hyacinth one because to me that that whole piece of when you start something, you don't notice it, nobody else notices it. And so often we quit just before that sudden realization that we're actually moving forward happens. You know, we talk to somebody and we talk to them 3 times, not 5. We send whatever it is. We do a post and nobody comments. So then, well, we don't do one tomorrow. We actually don't do and continue to do on a daily basis what brings us that compounding result.
I really like that, Sherry, because it brought to mind something like, what is our end result? Like when we're talking to somebody, what is it that we're hoping to accomplish when we're posting and nobody like, what is it that we're hoping to accomplish? Is the whole purpose of the post to go viral, to get 100 comments, to get a whole bunch of people who have never interacted on your stuff to like or love it? Or is the goal to do the things that are going to build credibility, that are going to have you continuously show up so that, you know, in how many years, like, and I know that that's a scary length of time, but a lot of us who've been here for like more than a hot minute have had it happen where somebody comes to you after watching you for years and they're like,